Okay, today in the garage we've got this 21 Ford Ranger XLT. It's got the FX4 off-road package. It's four-wheel drive also. And we're going to do the rear brakes on it. Okay, so we're on the rear. We got our tire off. We got a jack stand under it. This is pretty typical for rear calipers, but there are a couple of things you need to know that are different about this. I'll show you those when we get to them. So first we're going to start off with a couple 13mm caliper bolts. Okay, so you see how this square is spinning? This is either 19 or 3/4. Just put this on here and hold it. Okay, now this one, the parking brake cable is strong enough to hold this up for us, so we don't have to tie this one up. Usually we do, but this is gonna hold this just fine. Okay, next to take the caliper bracket off, got an 18 top and bottom. Another 18 right here for this caliper bracket. These are a little difficult to get off because they're hub centric and they're kind of rust weld themselves into here. So if you have to, I mean, I don't want to bang this with a hammer, so I have a trick for you. PV blaster. Okay, so we have it jacked up by the differential, which lets us spin both tires. So what we're going to do is got a 1/2 inch bolt, 3 inches long, and a nut, and we're going to use this as a press. All we have to do is we're going to push on the back side of this rotor. This is not threaded, so we're not hurting anything. Stick our bolt through there. Nut on this side. Tighten this up. We'll hold the back side of the nut. It will push this rotor off. There's a pop. Okay. Let's back this off a little bit. We'll spin it 180. Tighten back up. I'll just keep doing this until it forces the rotor off. You can see the gap growing here. Okay, you can see it pressed on here. It pushes on this edge, so even if you had to reuse this rotor, you could. I got this trick from South Main Auto on YouTube, so check his channel out. He's got a lot of little tricks like this. What I found next is what we need to do is get this piston turned back in. Now, this is one thing that people need to know. So if you look at this caliper, there's an arrow right here. This arrow on the top tells you which way to turn the piston to retract it. Do not push this in with a C-clamp. It has to be turned, and in the not normal direction you would think, especially on the other side. More on the passenger side, it does screw in the normal way, but on the driver's side, turn this the opposite way, but just follow your arrow. The easiest way I found to get this to go back together is we're going to take our pads back out of our caliper bracket. Okay, without the pads, we're going to reinstall this caliper bracket, and I'll show you the reason for this in a minute. We're going to reinstall this. Alright, we're just gonna run these back down real quick. Just snug, not have to be tight. What we're doing is making a solid base to be able to turn this back in. I tried it a couple different ways, and this is the best way I could find to do it. Harbor Freight 11-piece disc brake pad and caliper service tool, part number MF11-1. Okay, we're going to use, they're all numbered. So number 6 is what we want. Okay, so we take the main part of the tool. This is your caliper spreader. It goes in through here like this. Okay, and that's going to go like that. Now our number 6 tool fits into the piston really nicely. That's just going to go like that. Okay, so that's what we end up with. So let's put one on the outside here like this. We need to remember which way to. This is going clockwise on the passenger side. I've got a 7/8 on this, very, very close. These 2 prongs are going to fit into these 2 holes in the caliper and the piston. Now, one other thing, as we turn this back in, we have our arrow here, and then we have this notch. These notches right here, either one has to be in line with this tab right here. So no matter which one it is, as we screw this back in, I tried doing this like this, and it was so frustrating. I found out just mounting it back in the caliper bracket makes it nice and solid. You can do it by yourself. So we're gonna, these 2 fit in here very nicely. Okay. Have a caliper bolt ready. You gotta kind of. All right, so we're going to turn this back out, give ourselves some room. Okay. This is going to go in here. We're just going to let this sit here for right now. Now take your caliper bolt, get the upper one started. I'm going to do the lower bolt also, just so this thing is nice and steady. This is going to move, so we're going to take a C-clamp. If you don't do this, you could push out of the caliper pins. This will lock it down. Okay, now this can't move. Alright, so we're going to line up those 2. Now we're going to turn this towards us to make it tight against this bracket. And here, so I'll just tighten up. Alright, now I want to give this a little tighten. So the directions say you have to put a good amount of force on this going in and turn it at the same time to get this to go in, because there's some kind of little cone or something in here. I'll show you the directions here. So tightening this up just a, alright, I'm going to go down, tighten it up a little bit. Now as we turn this, I still see our arrow which way to go. It's pretty, it's not easy. Then you have to keep turning this back out. Okay, tighten it back up. Turn it, tighten, turn it, tighten. We're going to keep doing this until that piston goes in. See, now it's getting loose. We got to tighten it up. You don't want to put too much pressure on this, but just enough to like turn it. And it's going to get loose as the pistons go in. And if that's getting loose, that's good. That means the Piston's going back in. It takes a while. Right there, it just tightened up. So I'm gonna back it off just a little bit. And we can't see if it's lined up correctly, so let's take it off. Take this loose. Take our caliper bolts back off. So we can see we're not lined up. We either have to go in a little bit more, because here's our, so one of the indentations has to be line up right there. Snug. Alright, now I'm just going to turn it until, okay, right there, because on the back of this brake pad you have this nub, and you can see where it was sitting in the, so that's lined up. We're good to go on this. Let's take our caliper bracket back off and go clean that up, get the pads in it. Take out the bottom one first. Let's take this to the bench and get it cleaned up. We've got our bracket in the vise. We're going to take out these clips here. Now what I'm going to do is lay them down exactly as they come off. There. Those one there. And that one there. Okay, so that's exactly how they came off. On these rear pads, all these clips are the same. Just going to double check and make sure everything's right. Next, clean up our grooves. Just a quick spray down. Alright, take a little bit of our caliper grease, get it in here. Okay, we want this pretty thin, so we're going to take our finger and put it anywhere here, the top, and in the middle, so that rust can't form behind this and start binding up the pads. Put our clips back in. And these, I found it easiest to put it in on the top first and then push the bottom in. Kind of push it down in there. Okay, these have to go on either side of this boss right here. Okay, I'm gonna grease this side of these. The pads slide. We want all this stuff to slide easily. Pull this boot back. Pull this pin out. Make sure it's not seized in there. I'm gonna give this just a light coat all the way around. Push it back in until it clicks. Same on this side. Push it back in. want these moving like this. Let's look at our old pads. Okay, we've got these horseshoe clips that just clip on and let that sit there. This is the one with our squealer, and then match it up. It's on the same side. Okay. So the rounded part goes to the top. So we take this clip, put it into the little indentation in the end of the pad. That's all we do. Each pad gets one on each side. Okay, it goes over to the top, this way, and this way. There's a difference on the new ones and the old ones. Let's take our other old pad, make sure it's the same. It's got two nubs out here, two more of our clips. Let's just make sure. Alright, that all looks good. Okay, this is the outer side. So we're going to put a little bit of grease right in here. Alright, now the fun part. So what I found is easiest to do is to take it, put it on the inside, and kind of work it. Okay, we've got our other one greased up. We're going to put it on the inside also. Try not to touch the other one. You kind of have to do one side at a time and push your clip back a little bit. These are kind of annoying. Okay, got one side in. Okay, there we go. Finally. Now, let's just make sure this flange is clean. Okay, I got our new rotor. Got to get this glaze stuff off the inside. So what we're going to do is let's put it on backwards. And that's right there. All right, now I'll flip it over. You can see it's getting stuck already right here. Let's clean it up real quick. Okay, now this has to be seated all the way in here for everything to bolt up. I can't even push it on any further. So, all right, so we can use the lug nuts to pull it in, but we don't want to bust through the cap. So these are 5/8 washers. Let's put one here. I've got two. Put two there. Put two there across from each other. And then let's tighten this down. Okay. Get these centered on this cone on these lug nuts. Push them out. Okay. Now that'll hold it in place for us till we get to the very end. Put our caliper bracket back on. Our bottom bolt started. This is an 18 on these. Okay, these go to 111 foot-pounds. Let's put our caliper back on. These had a dab of blue Loctite on them. I'm going to put more Loctite on that. Let's get this top one started. Bottom bolt on. And these are a 13. Alright, these go to 22 foot-pounds. And you can see it didn't hurt that cone on there at all. Alright, so let's put the tire on, torque these to 100 foot-pounds, and then we have to get the brake pedal set. Lug nuts go to 100. Alright, last thing we need to do is get this pedal pump back up, engine off, just half strokes, 3-4 times, and then it's rock hard. A couple things to make this job easier. You're going to want this Harbor Freight MF11-1 disc brake caliper service tool kit. I got 4 5/8 hole washers. Okay. And then a 1/2 inch bolt, all thread, 3 inches long, and a nut. It's going to make your life a lot easier. I hope this helped. It's a little different than a regular rear caliper job, but not too terribly bad. Alright, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.